The first thing what I want to tell you is SAP HANA basically is a database. That is the first point, is this one here. And next thing is, but it is not a classical database. When I say something called as the classical database, we have Oracle, SQL Server, Teradata, okay, and we have MS Access. These are all the classical databases what we generally talk about, okay. But this SAP HANA is a modern database. This is one thing, okay. And then we also call this one as an in-memory computing database. In-memory computing database, what we call. So before we delve into the details of this in-memory computing, let us try to see the differentiating concepts of your classical databases before we come on to this particular in-memory computing database. Okay, so generally whenever you try to see the three-tier architecture of any computer system or an applications, client-server applications, here we have the presentation layer, okay. Then followed by the presentation layer, what you have is that you have this application layer that exists. And followed by this particular application layer, what we have is that we have this database that exists here, database layer. We'll have this database layer that exists. So these are the three things. We have the presentation layer, we have the application layer, as well as we have the database layer that exists here. Okay. Okay. Now this database layer have this storage exists within the secondary disk, right? This is exists within the secondary disk. This is what is your secondary storage, or else what we do is that we call this one as a hard disk drive, what we call here. Okay. Now the users exist at this particular layer. The users will interact only with respect to the presentation layer. So the users might be the database programmers, he might be the DBAs, or else it might be the report users, or the end users, whoever it might be. They exist only at this particular place. Okay. Users, presentation layer, along with this particular application layer that exists here. Now, one thing that we need to understand here is these users cannot directly access this information that is present in the database, right? They cannot access this information. Okay. So for the purpose of accessing this information, what they need to do, they need to get this information from the database into the application layer. Okay. They need to get this information from the database into the application layer, and this application layer is something that is hosted in RAM, right? This is nothing but your primary memory, or the RAM, what we call here. Okay, so this is the place where the processing of your information takes place, and the end results what you are having here will be given to the user in the form of this particular presentation layer. This is generally what happens. So Alekia, you are with me, right, on the way what I am talking about here?
Yeah.
Okay, now let me start telling you the problems what you have with this particular architecture. When you start talking about this particular database, generally what happens is, what should be the database? The size of the database is in terms of 500 gigabytes to 1 terabyte of data you can have. 500 gigabytes to 1 terabyte of data you can have. Okay, and when you start talking about this particular applications which is there in the RAM can have the maximum capacity of 6 GB of RAM, or else we can have the option of 1 terabyte of or else 8 GB of RAM. That is the maximum amount of RAM that you can have. Or else in case if you can go to the high-end systems, you can have 32 GB to 64 GB of RAM only you can have. 64 GB of RAM only you can have. Now, assuming that these particular users, whom I am talking about here, okay, would like to access a particular report that will try to aggregate the sales data of all the 3 years or the last 5 years. Okay, so that means that what we need to do, the entire data has to be processed here. Okay, when you want to process that entire data, do you really think that you'll be able to process those particular data here itself. We cannot directly process. So what we need to do, we need to have the methodology to transfer this data from the database layer into this particular application layer and then process. But when you try to compare the size of your 500 gigabytes to 1 terabyte or 32 gigabytes to 64 gigabytes, we cannot process all the data at a time. So that's why this processing is leading to a couple of disadvantages, right? This processing is leading to a couple of disadvantages. So what are the disadvantages that you can see here? The first thing is, one thing that we can say is that we can't process the real-time data, point number one. And the second thing is the data latency is going to be there. Guys, I'm seeing a lot of voice from your side. It would be really great in case if you guys can mute yourself, please. One is the first thing what you are having here is nothing but the data latency. Okay. And the second thing what you are having here is real-time reporting is not possible. Real-time reporting is not possible here. Okay. So that is the reason what we want to do is that, so these traditional databases or the classical databases what you are talking about is having a lot of disadvantages here. Okay, so that's why the industry is looking for a particular set of databases. The industry is looking for a particular set of databases, okay, where we can have the RAM that can hold this particular amount of data, and we can also have the real-time reporting that can be very quick as early as possible. So with that particular concept, what has come is the concept of this particular in-memory computing has come into the market. The concept of in-memory computing has come into the market. Okay. So with this one, what happens is, so the problem with this particular traditional databases, the classical databases, what I have told you is this is the problem. Okay. Now what is going to happen is when we have this particular in-memory computing that is existing, that is having two main things here. Okay. The first thing is, there is no need for you to have your database existing within the hard disk. Okay. Now what you can do is that you can always have your data, okay, to be existing in the form of your RAM itself, in the form of a database. So since this particular database is going to reside within this RAM, what we do is that we call such type of databases as in-memory computing databases. That is one thing. Okay. And the second thing is how much data you can hold. So right now the size of the data is not going to be the limitation factor. Okay. You can also have the option of loading this particular data from 500 gigabytes to even to 10 terabytes of data that can be loaded into this particular RAM itself. So when the entire amount of data is there within RAM, what happens is that your applications, okay, can directly access that particular data. Your applications can directly access that particular data and then make sure you can have the option of they can access this particular data at a faster rate. Okay, as well as you can also have the option of having this particular real-time reporting that can be done possible. Real-time reporting that can be done as possible in this particular case. Okay, so these are all the things that we would like to see with respect to this particular in-memory computing databases. HANA is such a type of in-memory computing database. Okay, so with the invention of HANA, or else with the discovery of this particular HANA, what we can say is HANA is nothing but an in-memory computing database, okay, that exists within RAM, that has the capability to hold okay, gigabytes to terabytes of data in main memory itself. Okay, so that we can have the option of trying to process the data at a very gigantic speeds. Okay, as well as the data can be always used for your real-time reporting also as well. Okay, so for this particular purpose only, this particular in-memory computing has been introduced, and HANA is one such type of in-memory computing database, and we call this particular HANA as high performance a high performance analytical appliance. This is what we call this one as HANA basically in this case. Okay, we call this one as the high performance analytical appliance in this particular case. So is the concept clear to you, right? What I'm talking here? Alekia and Chandan, Baswaraj, Surya and Subhani. Is it clear? What is the main purpose of this particular HANA at this point of time?
Yes, I'm with you.
Are any questions from your side? You're fine.
Not at this.
Okay, fine.
Hey, this is Chandan. I have a question.
Hi. Yeah, please.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, you said that like entire database resides in RAM. Right?
RAM.
So,
Yeah.
RAM is a volatile memory. So what happens if someone shut down the computer? So does it wipe the entire database?
Actually, see, whenever we really talk about a database, what happens is your databases will have a strong backup capabilities. Okay, data archiving, data retrieval. Okay, the replication of the systems that will automatically run. So that's why every precaution is going to be taken to make sure that whenever any change is happening to that particular database, okay, we maintain the logs, we maintain the transaction logs so that we can have a failover capability, okay, to make sure that the data is restored to the earliest status over there. So that's why we really are not going to have such type of problem here in this particular case, Chandan. Does it answer your question? Well, because the architecture of your HANA always takes care a lot about your the backup, okay, along with your failover capability. So that is not going to be a problem. And moreover, the systems in which you are trying to run your databases are going to be on the production servers, okay, in the data centers. They will always ensure, okay, a consistent backup, power backup and everything is going to be there until and unless there is an abnormal shutdown that happens in that particular point of time. Till that particular point of time, I think we are fine, right, Chandan? You agree with me?
Yeah.
Yeah, fine. So this is what is your HANA. Okay, HANA is nothing but your high performance analytical appliance, okay, that has the capability to process high volumes of transactional data. When I say high volumes, I told you, right, it is not going to be megabytes or gigabytes, it is going to be in terabytes only basically. Okay, and another thing is the main purpose of having this particular data is to have your real-time transactions that need to be possible, okay, and the second time is online reporting, analytical reporting that need to be done on this particular database. Now, let me start talking about two things here. Whenever you talk any particular database, that particular database will have three types of activities that happens, right? Okay, one type of activity is nothing but the modeling activity. The second type of activity is nothing but the data load or the data population activity, and the third type of activity is nothing but your reporting activity. Whatever database you take, we try to have this particular transaction, these particular activities that happens. Okay, the first thing what we talk about here is nothing but your modeling. Any database you take, you need to do this particular modeling activity here. Modeling activity. Okay. The second activity what we need to do here is nothing but your data population, or else what we do that in SAP HANA terms we call this one as data provisioning. Okay, and we are going to have this particular type of activity, and the third type of activity what we really talk about is nothing but your reporting activity. These are all the three things that we really talk about here. the modeling activity, the second thing is nothing but the data provisioning, and third thing is nothing but your reporting activity. Okay, and the databases what you are having in this IT environment can be classified into two types. Okay, one is nothing but your transaction database, operations database what we call, and second type of database is nothing but the reporting database what we call here. One is the transaction database and second type of database is nothing but the reporting database. Okay, but let me tell you a couple of things here. Let me try to tell you a couple of things here. This transactions database is called as a OLTP system. Okay, and this reporting database we generally call this one as an OLAP, which is nothing but your online analytical processing system what we call here, which is nothing but your online analytical processing system what we call. Okay, in terms of SAP, this OLTP systems what we do is that we call them as SAP ECC systems, which is an ERP module, and the reporting modules what we do is that we call this one as an SAP BI or BW systems what we call, SAP BI to SAP BW what we call, right? These are the things what we generally use here. Okay, now one thing what we need to really understand is HANA is not tied up to a single type of system. Okay, it is not a transactional database, it is not a reporting database, but it is nothing but a hybrid database. Okay, when we call this particular system as a hybrid database, what does it mean is that it has the capability of storing your transactional data as well. Okay, as well as it can also have the capability to store your reporting data also as well basically. So that's why HANA is nothing but an hybrid database that can have the capability to store both the transactional data along with your analytical data also as well. Transactional data along with your analytical data also as well in this particular case. Okay, now having said that, I told you that there are three types of activities that happens. One is a modeling, second one is the data provisioning, and third one is the reporting activity here. Okay, now tell me among these three particular activities, what is the first activity that we do basically?
Obviously data modeling.
Data modeling is the first activity that we need to do. Okay.
So is it similar to DDL that we have in SQL? See, what we are basically, at least I'm not able to understand is what exactly is it different from other databases? Like the database that we have, like DB2, right? We have the relational kind of database, right? Is it the same as a relational kind of database? And also, how can that much of data can fit into RAM? Is it the way it is structured or the memory is more? I'm not getting there.
See, the definition of your HANA itself is going to be your high performance analytical appliance. Okay, when we call this one as an appliance, you can see here. Okay, it is not only a hardware, it is nothing but a hardware software combo. Okay, so what is going to happen is a set of specialized providers are available in the IT industry right now. One is HP, Dell, Fujitsu, IBM. These are all the specialized hardware providers. Okay, what they do is that they try to create a specialized hardware come software. Okay, in order to make sure that you try to get a separate HANA box on your own. Okay, so that's why what happens is that this particular specialized HANA box, what I'm talking about here, it contains a particular motherboard. Okay, that has the RAM containing that 1 to 10 terabytes of space over there. Okay, as well as the HANA related software that is specially fabricated, and then that comes as a customized product in the form of a motherboard. So that particular motherboard, what you need to do is that you need to integrate with respect to your main system motherboard in order to make sure that that is getting jailed with respect to your other components of your DNA basically. That is how it is supposed to work here basically. Understood, right?
Okay, yeah, thanks.
Okay, so that's why there are specialized hardware vendors who are very much seasoned in manufacturing such a type of software here. And another thing what you are asking is that is HANA basically a database like this? Yes, HANA is such type of relational database. What you have like DB2, SQL Server, and Oracle and all. So here, what you are going to have is that I'll show you a particular studio. That particular studio is nothing but your SAP HANA studio, what we call here. SAP HANA studio. So this is the studio where we try to do a lot of modeling activities over here. Okay, when I say that we are going to do a lot of modeling activities, that modeling activities includes the creation of the DDL statements, the DML statements, the TCL statements, along with your DB activities also as well here. So Chandan, you are seeing here, right? We are having something called as welcome to the modeler. Okay, so this is the place. What we generally do is we try to create the different types of database tables, views, sequences, procedures, synonyms, and all those particular things we start creating here. And in case if you want to switch over to the developer role, you can do. Okay, otherwise if you want to do the admin related activities also, you can do here. So that's why many of the activities, including your data modeling, okay, the data development, the database development, something of the sort, HANA development, along with your administration. This is something that we generally do it here in this particular case, you know. So you try to do it with the help of a graphical user interface. Otherwise, you can also have the option of doing this one with the help of the SQL scripting also as well. Both are possible here. Okay, it is not different from the other databases what you are talking about, but this is the same, but with a little bit of differences with respect to the syntax and semantics. And another thing is, the only problem is it does not reside on your secondary disk, but it resides within your in-memory computing system, which is nothing but your primary storage, and that is not the primary RAM that we generally talk about in our real-time day-to-day scenarios, but this is nothing but a specialized package or else a specialized component that need to be customized for your SAP HANA ecosystem, something of that sort. That's how it is going to be possible here. You are hearing a lot of buzz with respect to big data, right, in the market with respect to Hadoop and everything. What is the capability of Hadoop? You know, Hadoop is having the capability of storing some petabytes of data. Okay, all that particular petabytes of data cannot be accommodated on a single system. So you need to have a cluster of systems that should exist. Okay, in the form of your secondary disk. But this particular in-memory computing is something that is supposed to be hosted on a single chip itself. That single chip itself can have the capability of storing terabytes of data, basically in this case. Okay, Chandan, does it answer your question, what I'm talking about? Hello?
Hey, that was not me, maybe someone else.
Sorry, what was this one? I don't know. But this is clear to you, right, what I'm talking about here?
Yeah.
Now, I have said that there are three types of activities that we do. One is nothing but your data modeling activity, the second one is your data provisioning, and third one is your reporting activity that we does. So modeling basically is very much similar to the way you try to create the schemas, the data definitions, the data dictionary. Okay, trying to create the different types of tables, views, synonyms, procedures, and functions in order to host the data. So that is what we generally try to do in this particular modeling. And that particular modeling in terms of this architecture is supposed to be carried out with the type of studio, and we call this particular studio as the SAP HANA Studio, what we generally call here. This is what is your SAP HANA Studio, what I was referring you at that point here. This is what is your SAP Studio that we try to do your modeling activity, as well as that we try to do your administrative related activities also as well. Okay, now you have your data structures. Okay, once we have your data structures, the second thing that we need to really focus on is how should we get the data? How should we get the data? Okay, for this particular purpose, please let me tell you one thing. HANA itself is not going to be used as a primary database where we can use it from scratch. Okay, for the purpose of starting your application data over there. Okay, for now, from till the next 3-4 years down the line, it is supposed to be used as a secondary database. Okay, when it is supposed to be used as a secondary database, what we need to have is we need to have the primary databases in the form of your SAP ECC you are seeing here, ERP databases, or else in the form of your other source systems, where we need to start getting the data, or else we need to start replicating the data from these particular systems into this particular HANA database. Okay, we need to start replicating the data from these particular systems into this particular HANA database. So the type of activity what we generally do is that we call that one as an data replication. Okay, or else we call that one as a data provisioning. Okay, that is what is called as the data provisioning, what we generally call. So this is what is called as an ETL replication, what data replication, what we call. And this ETL replication is going to hold 3 types basically. This replication is going to be done in basically 3 types. One is nothing but your see here. You can see here this one. I can try to use an ETL tool for the purpose of bringing the data from your third-party systems and SAP BW system into your in-memory computing database. Okay. Otherwise, what I can do is that I can start using another type of replication, which is nothing but your what we can say is SLT replication. Stands for SAP Landscape Transform. Okay, that has the capability of bringing your data from the ERP tables into this SAP HANA database. Okay, whenever a triggering happens, and such type of database is nothing but your such type of provisioning is what is called as your trigger-based replication, what we generally call here. Trigger-based replication, what we generally call here. So I was trying to refer to your second slide. Let me show you here. There is one type of real-time replication that happens here to show you. Yeah. So this is the thing what I was talking about here. You can see the screen, right? When you try to view this particular screen, you have this particular thing. See. If you have your data existing in non-SAP databases in the form of flat files and all those particular things, okay, then we can use your ETL replication in the form of SAP Business Objects Data Services for the purpose of bringing the data from your ERP systems into your HANA database. That is the first thing. Okay, and the second thing is, in case if your data is residing in your ERP system itself, then we can start using your trigger-based replication. And trigger-based replication is also called as SLT. Stands for SAP Landscape Transform. Okay. So this particular transform we can use. What you can use for the purpose of bringing your data in the near real-time replication mode. So with this particular procedures, what we do is we try to start bringing data into your SAP HANA database. Okay. Once you have brought your data into this particular HANA database, how can we report that particular data is very much important. Okay. For the purpose of reporting that particular data, this particular data, what I generally do is I can start using your SAP Business Objects reporting tools. Okay, like Web Intelligence Stitch Client, Crystal Reports, or XLCS I can use. Otherwise, I can also have the option of using your Microsoft Excel or else the Dashboard Designer. Okay, for the purpose of getting your data, okay, into your reporting and analysis feeds basically. So this is the place where we try to do your reporting part here. Okay, this is the place where you are trying to do the reporting part using your SAP Business Objects technology stack, and this is the place where you try to do your ETL part. Okay, for the purpose of bringing the data into your SAP HANA system, and SAP HANA Studio is basically used for your modeling activities basically. Okay, and apart from these 3 things, what exactly we are going to do is we are going to see a little bit of admin related concepts, okay, which are required for your certification point of view. That particular things are also we are going to see in this particular SAP HANA modules also as well here. You know, so that is how it is going to be done. So that's why in order to get your footprints into SAP HANA, you need to leverage yourself into 3 types of activities. One is you can try to be a data modeler or a business analyst to create the different types of information models, okay, using your SAP HANA Studio. And in case if you are from a technical background, what you can do is you can try to leverage your technical experience in the form of ETL or data transformations, and then trying to work with the different types of tools and products in order to get the data from the different sources into your SAP HANA database. That is the second thing. And third thing what we can do is if you are from the business side or from the functional side where you are very much into reporting purpose, then what you can do is we can use your reporting tools in order to do this one. But if you are having some 10 years of experience in the market where you want to leverage your all these skills, you can also try to go as an SAP HANA architect in the market, where you can try to focus all these particular skills in order to develop the end-to-end solutions on this particular architecture also as well. Okay, so this is how this particular course is formulated here. Okay, and we do a lot of modeling stuff here. We do a data provisioning as well as we try to cover almost all the different aspects of reporting what you're supposed to learn in this particular course curriculum. Okay, so it's going to be something like 20 to 25 sessions per day. Sorry, sessions, basically 25 sessions we are going to take, and each session running for a duration of 1 hour. Each session running for a duration of 1 hour, and we start with your SAP HANA architecture, the SAP HANA landscape basically. Okay, how exactly it is formulated and all, and what are all the different components that makes up your SAP HANA landscape, and then slowly we start entering into the details of your technical workings with respect to modeling, data provisioning, and SAP reporting and HANA reporting, and finally we'll end up with a bit of overview on your HANA admin part to make sure that you're comfortable with this particular piece. Okay, mine is going to be with respect to your certification point of view, where we try to cover a lot. Okay, with respect to the emphasis on modeling and your technical architecture. That is how this course is going to be covered. Okay, the material will be provided to you as well as whatever it is existing that will be automatically be taken care at this point of view here.
Yeah, I'm having a certain query, like there should always be an interface for data transfer between two different systems, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. In this case, what's the interface that is acting?
The interface we are going to use is nothing but the ETL tool in the form of business objects data services. Okay. And another interface what we are going to use is nothing but your special type of server, LT server, SAP landscape transform we are going to use here. Okay, where we customize and then try to bring the data and replicate it in real time. These are the two things we are going to use, Alekia.
Okay, as far as I know, SAP BW does the same reporting task that SAP HANA does. You know, how does it?
But let me tell you, SAP BW is something that resides on the secondary disk, right? Secondary disk. Okay, and another thing is SAP BW is a customized BA solution for SAP ECC. Okay, now this is something which is going to reside within in-memory. Now the future vision of SAP HANA is going to be having your HANA database to be hosting your SAP BW data also as well. That is already done. Okay, so earlier what happens is what was happening is you are having your BW systems hosted on Oracle platform or MaxDB platform, something of that sort. Okay, but now what is happening is your BW database is not going to be residing on the secondary databases. It itself is going to be residing on your HANA database as well. Okay, and going forward, the entire SAP business suite is going to be residing on SAP HANA. Going forward, that is going to be the vision in the next coming 2-3 years of time, basically. Like, yeah.
Okay. I'm basically from functional side. I'm not very techie person. So
no problem.
Completely going out. Not completely, but
from the functional. Yeah, please tell me.
Yeah, it's a bit going out of my mind right now. So I just need to clarify all these things.
Yeah, it comes step by step. The moment once we see the architecture. Okay, so architecture I'll try to balance more of functional and a bit of technical, showing that I try to balance everything, and then things are going to be clear to you. One thing what you need to understand is going forward, HANA is going to be used as a database for all your SAP ECC application, for all your SAP functional modules altogether. It might be BPC, it might be your BW, it might be your ECC, HR, and all the things that are going to be residing on SAP HANA. Okay, in HANA we do 3 types of activities: modeling activity, which is totally functional, that will suit you basically, and the second thing is your ETL data migration, which is more of a technical thing, which you can know, nice to have in your skill set, and third thing is going to be your reporting, which again is going to be a totally of a functional scenarios. Okay, where we try to create the different types of reports and all using business objects. So that's why the technical part where you're going to work out is only with respect to the ETL and data migration, basically. So that's why when we try to map your skill set, I have not shown you the skill set, right? Okay, when you try to map your skill set, you can very well gel here basically, Alekia. You can go as a business process owner or analyst in this particular case. Otherwise, you can go as a report developer, or else you can go as an information modeler. So these are the three things that you can aim at. And I'm not talking about this particular part because this is going to be of a total technical scenario here in this case, totally technical scenario. So that's how it is going to be.
Okay. And even I've heard about other in-memory database like Mongo database, NoSQL.
These are all a part of big data, which is altogether a different thing altogether. Big data, Hadoop, Apache Hadoop architectures, that comes in the other world of big data. Okay, but this is going to be our SAP world, and within this world, the only in-memory system that has come in the market with so much revolutions is nothing but your HANA database only here.
Yeah, and I've heard someone telling me that you need to know SAP BW prior to learning SAP HANA.
Not required. There are so many people, okay, who have come from non-SAP background, okay, and they have completed their SAP HANA certification also as well, and then they have started working on this SAP HANA POCs also as well. See, when you come on to SAP HANA, obviously it is very good to have the knowledge of SAP BW, but that is not a mandate basically. Okay, why? Because from HANA point of view, you treat ECC, BW or any other type of systems only as a databases from where you fetch the data. That's it, with the different types of interfaces. That way, if we can see, things are going to very well work out,
Okay.
Any other questions from other people?
Yeah, hi Ravi. This is Chandan.
Yeah.
The technology is changing so fast, and now the HANA is hot. So, how long this will be in the market?
But let me tell you, Chandan, very good question. I do agree that technology is changing. Okay, but at the same time, you need to understand this is the period where HANA is going to stabilize itself. We are seeing this particular buzz of HANA in the market from the last 2 to 2.5 years as well. Okay, a lot of versions and revisions are happening to this particular SAP SAP HANA, where they are trying to come up with a matured architecture. So that's why we see a lot of revisions and versions that might happen. But any incremental changes that are being happening, okay, is going to be an enhancement that is going to be there, but the base remains always the same at any point of time. Okay, so HANA is going to stay long, but because when you are drifting ourselves, when we talk about ECC was there in the market from the last 15 to 16 years. You know that one, right? From the last 15 to 16 years, it was there, and all the versions that have come up are built on the top of that one only. Even BW for that matter. BW was not out. 7.4 has come with many number of enhancements and all. Business objects, they are going to stay as long as they are going to be modulated with respect to the new requirements which are coming in the industry. So that's how it is. So that's why it is not going to be that it will wash away something of the sort. Such type of comprehensions are not going to be there in this particular HANA channel. Future is going to be SAP HANA if you try to take that particular part,
Ravi, you mean to say all the clients who have implemented SAP BW will switch to SAP HANA now? Is that so?
See, I don't say that everybody is going to shift, okay, but whoever is having the correct justification and the business case that they need to shift, yes, they are going to shift. Yes, that is true.
Okay.
And you also talked about certification.
Yeah.
So, is there any validity for that certification, or it's valid lifelong? Or we need to renew it every 3 years?
See, in the last year, in 2012 and 2013, we heard about support pack 3. Okay, then support pack 4 has come, 5 has come, 6 is there, and latestly 7 also has been released. Okay, so that's why it really matters in which version of SAP HANA you got certified. That is point number 1. And second point is it is going to be valid for a period of 1 year or 1.5 years for the purpose of getting an entry at that point of time, and until and unless your business asks you to go for a renewal of your certification, till that particular point of time it is going to be valid. I had been certified in support pack 5 and support pack 4, but they didn't do this 6 and 7 yet. Why? Because they're constantly, changing with new updates and all. So that's why if you stick on to a particular thing and then get certified yourself, nothing better than that.
Yeah, this is Basa.
Please tell me.
I have a couple of basic questions. The first question is that I'm not a SAP background, but yes, I do have some knowledge on SQL, which are used on DB2 mainframe technologies. So at what level, to what extent it would be helpful for me? This is first question. My second question is, how about labs? Like, are you going to provide a user ID and password, right? But what is the procedure where we can practice more in the lab sessions? You guys are helping to create any projects, or first you guys are allowing us to do more practice and then you are advising on some existing or any old projects or whatever? What is the procedure?
Okay. So let me start answering your questions one by one. See, for the purpose of entering into SAP HANA, the first thing is being in SAP itself is not a mandate. There are so many people from the other ETL backgrounds, the business objects background, the different databases backgrounds who started, procuring their feature in SAP HANA. So that's why you are safe. And second thing is, with respect to the practicals and the environment, what you are talking about, I have showed you here, Basaras. It is Basaras only, right? Okay.
Yeah.
This is the place where you will be given the remote access, where a separate user ID and password will be created for you. You can enter, and you can have the option of recording the sessions what I am giving you, and you can follow those particular sessions for the purpose of practicing. There should not be a problem for you. Okay, but now and then there are going to be a couple of disturbances that might happen, saying that ECC is down or the HANA server is down.
There's one more query from my end.
Please tell me.
Yeah, I come from a functional background and I'm a bit kind of confused here whether to switch to this completely new technology as a whole. HANA seems to be much technical to me. Is it advisable for me, to go ahead in the same function?
Even I came from a functional background, I came from a functional background, from SD, sales distribution, at some point of time. Okay. Slowly I started grabbing the things of ETL databases, okay, and this modeling also as well. And now I'm working as an architect for one of the major MNCs over here.
Okay. I basically come from SCM background. Okay.
Yeah. Should not be a problem. Should not be a problem. You can accumulate yourself, or else you can adapt yourself to a particular function module, and then you can do. I can help you out. Should not be a problem.
Okay.
The only thing is that you need to start keeping practicing, and then make sure that you are comfortable with respect to the updated things and all. Then it is not a rocket science basically, right? So that's why.